morning, student. Welcome to my online history class. Class 10. The chapter already we started. The third chapter, objectives and methods of the early nationalists. And in this chapter, we thoroughly discussed previous class that what was the objective of the moderates, who were known as moderates, why they were known as moderates, what was their basic beliefs and their methods of struggle. The period between 1885, when Indian National Congress was born, the main congressmen, those are dominated Indian National Congress at this early stage, they were known as early congressmen or the moderates or the early nationalists. Today we will discuss the contribution of the three main early nationalists to the freedom struggle movement. Your syllabus, you have to, there was too many nationalist leaders are there, but it is specifically mentioned in your syllabus. You have to study Dadabhai Naoroji, about Dadabhai Naoroji, Shunnam Banerjee and Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Today we will discuss the contribution of Dadabhai Naoroji, who was one of the outstanding leader of the Indian National Congress at its initial stage. Dadabhai Naoroji, he was born in Bombay in a Parsi family in 1825. He born in 1825. A well-educated nationalist. He was the student of Bombay Elphinstone College, and later on he became the professors of Bombay Elphinstone College in economics. And if we already discussed previous class, Dadabhai Naoroji founded East India Association 1866 in London. It was the act as a precursor or forerunner of Indian National Congress. We will discuss according to chronological order. Now look at 1825, Dadabhai Naoroji was born. He played an important role to the Indian nationalist movement. He was known as the grand old man of India because at his ripe age, 1917, he breathed last. The great son of India breathed last in 1917. First, his contribution in Indian nationalist movement, foundation of East India Association, 1866. 1866, Dadabhai Naoroji founded East India Association in London. What was his objective for the foundation of this organization? He wanted to inform British the true state of India. How Indian people suffering in India, he wanted to inform the Britishers. That is why he founded East India Association. But when he returned to India, these organizations, three branches were set up, one in Kolkata, one is Mumbai and one is Madras. These associations played an important role to act as a precursors, forerunner of Indian National Congress. 1866. Next year, 1892. 1892, Dadabhai Naoroji was appointed British House of Commons. He was the first Indian who appointed British House of Commons, and it was great news. Why? Because when he became member of the British House of Commons, it was easy for him to discuss Indian matters at British levels, and it was happened. You know, we discussed previous class Indian Civil Service Examination, one prestigious examination. It was specially only student allowed to write. They have to go to England to write for examination. But it was his contribution as a member of British House of Commons. It was decided to simultaneous examination of Indian Civil Service Examination, not only in England but also in India. It was especially great contribution of Dadabhai Naoroji. So 1892 he was appointed British House of Commons. House of Commons. The first Indian he appointed British House of Commons. Dadabhai Naoroji, when I discussed with you the foundation of Indian National Congress in 1885 in Bombay under the presidency of W.C. Banerjee. But Dadabhai Naoroji was important Congress president, not only presided over the second session of Indian National Congress, it was next year, second session, 1886, but also other two sessions, it was 1893 and 1906. So thrice Dadabhai Naoroji presided over the president of Indian National Congress. The date was second session, 1886, 1893 and 1906. Out of three sessions, this session was very important. So once again, Dadabhai Naoroji presided over the three sessions of Indian National Congress. One is 1886, one is 1893, and one is 1906. 1906, the session was very remarkable. Now try to understand why. Now just before 1 year, 1905, Bengal was partitioned. The situation of Bengal was very tense, and the inside of the Congress already radicalism already especially started to grow. So naturally in this situation, moderate did not like to bring Bal Gangadhar Tilak as the Congress president. They wanted to bring Dadabhai Naoroji to preside over the Congress session of 1906. This session was held at Kolkata session, historic Kolkata session of the Indian National Congress. And at this session, Dadabhai Naoroji was the first Congress president who used the word Swaraj. It's very important. He used the word not only Swaraj but also under his presidency, under this session, Kolkata session, 4 important resolutions was passed. What are the first 4 important resolutions? Swadeshi, boycott, national education, and Swaraj. That is why 1906 session was very important session and significant role played history of modern India. Once in PPT 906 Kolkata session, just after the fresh eve of partition of Bengal, Dadabhai Naoroji was presided over the session, and under his leadership, presidency, 4 important resolutions were passed: Swadeshi, boycott, national liberation, and Swaraj. And he was the first president of Indian National Congress from Congress platform Kolkata session used the word Swaraj. So therefore, 1906 session, very important session in the history of Indian National Congress also. Now 1906 session, after that, his very important role he played, especially, you know, he was a master in both 2 subjects, economics as well as mathematics. So he wanted to expose true nature of British rule in India through his grain theory, the famous grain theory. The famous grain theory, he wanted to expose how British exploited Indians, and through his classic book, classic writing skill, the name of the book, Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Poverty and British rule in India. Through his classic work, Poverty and British Rule in India, he clearly explained how British created economic trade, how Indian wealth being taken away from river Ganges to the river Thames. That is from India to England. Not only salary of the British high officials, the money spent on army to fight war inside and outside of India. So they even taking all raw materials from India to England and to bring back machine-made goods to Indian market to sell. Not only ruin our economy, but drastically, especially, they ruin the life of our skillful artisan and craftsman. And therefore, the Poverty and British Rule in India and his grain theory played an important role to expose British true character in India. And another very important, Dadabhai Naoroji was not only a nationalist leader, he was a classic writer and great journalist. Through his writing skill, he edited the paper. It was Partial language, Rast Daftar. The name of the paper, Rast Daftar, means speaker of the truth. It is a partial language, the meaning of speaker of truth. So he edited the paper Rast Daftar and Dharma Marg Darshak. These 2 newspapers he specially edited, and as a part of the great nationalist of Indian freedom movement, Dadabhai Naoroji's role not less than any other freedom fighters in India. So now try to understand this chapter. We discuss thoroughly the birth of Indian National Congress, when Congress born, the main objective of Indian National Congress, and the demands of Indian National Congress at its early stage, and how they wanted to achieve their goal, self-governed with the British Empire through their moderate way of demands, that is submitting resolutions, preparing memorandum or the written script, and also holding meetings with high caliber and sending delegates to London. If coming to the point, sending delegates to London, again I am repeating, Dadabhai Naoroji was sent to England several times at the Congress delegates, and it was during his stay in London, it was possible for him to specially discuss the matter of holding Indian civil service examination in not only in London but also in India. So these are the chapters thoroughly study carefully step by step. First to study who were moderates. Moderates leaders dominated Indian National Congress during the period of 1885 to 1905. That means since Congress born till 1905, is 20 years they dominated Indian National Congress, especially to achieve their goal, self-government within British Empire, either or the dominant status in those days existing in England, Australia, New Zealand and Canada. So they like this category of leaders, these groups of leaders, they believe British rule in India good for India. They believe British rule in India, especially it is a British guidance and inspiration they require. They believe British rule in India, they believe British justice, fair play and integrity, and they were very loyal to the British government, and they did not like to oust British from India. They believed that due to British, it was in India railway constructed and the Western education spreaded. It is very, very important. Try to understand this period. When you discuss the next chapter, it was totally different. They believe these groups of leaders never like to oust British from India. They wanted to rule under the Britishers. That is why they demanded colonial form of government or colonial form of self-government. The leaders are these groups. The first stage of leader, at its initial stage, those are played a very important role. Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendra Banerjee and Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Next class we discuss Surendra Banerjee and Gopal Krishna Gokhale's contribution to freedom struggle movement of India. Thank you.